A whole generation of like
Of
unbelievably incredible guitar players who have learned to make these weird chords.
Oh, really? I've never tried. How do you play it? What's your tuning
Like
for it?
shit. Shit, I don't even know what the tuning
Really?
is
Do you
anymore.
just have your
It's
guitar
like,
set up for live shows?
so
kinda?
yeah. I mean, all my guitars, I have a different guitar for
every song?
each different tuning, because
Yeah.
every song has a different tuning, you know, which is strange to me. That's not me.
Robbie.
Yeah, every song has a different tuning, so I have a guitar set up for that.
How do you come up with the tunings? Do you just kind of
Yeah, I sit there. You know what I
sit there
do?
and
I
screw
just
around with each chord?
I
For
like
each
be
note?
sitting on the sofa and just I'll just start banging away and
You just
twisting,
start tuning strings?
just tuning and detuning strings, and cutting strings off the guitar and doing things like that, and then
hopefully it gets written down.
yeah, and then I generally and then I'll play with it, and something will hit me that I like the way it sounds, and I'll try to work on some chord shapes in there and see what kind of things I can do with it, and then I'll take a guitar tuner and then write it down in a book.
Oh, that's cool.
Put a piece of tape on it.
Yeah.
On the guitar that says, "Do not touch this guitar."
Tune B, 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 D, C, yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
What about you for the bass? Do you ever screw around with it like that?
Yeah, I mean, I just actually started doing an awful lot of that the past couple of records. Just, but more so just to kind of stay in the keys of the songs.
Yeah, you have to retune the bass for all the songs too?
Me and my guy got a system.
Yeah, nice. What system is that?
It's a system of tossing basses at each other.
Back and
between
forth during
songs.
shows?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
awesome. Let's talk about the new record. No Rob Cavallo this time. Glenn
No,
Ballard.
Glenn Ballard.
Did you record it in Buffalo too, or did you go to LA to do it too?
No, we recorded in L.A. with Glenn. We wrote the whole record in Buffalo, which was a great 6 months. Just this nice self-imposed exile. Just got out of L.A. And immediately felt a lot more creative. But then we went and worked with Glenn because we wanted to do something different.
Yeah.
We had made 2 or 3 records with Rob, and it was just like, all right, now it's time for something new. So he understood, and we got to do what we got to do to make the best records we can.
What did he bring to the process that's different than Rob? I mean, he's done Dave, he's done Alanis, a whole bunch of great bands.
Just a lot of positive energy. Like Glenn is very, very adept at making you forget the outside world, and he's really, really good at convincing you that what you're doing is a very important contribution to the world of art.
To the world,
yes,
yeah. And to the world too, man.
And
I mean,
to the
Better
world
Days
at
has been
large,
like the theme for the whole Katrina thing. So
yeah, I mean, yeah, that song came out of nowhere, which was really sort of interesting.
Was it written about that? Did it come out? No, it came out after.
It came out.
So you wrote it before.
I wrote.
Yeah,
It came out just
yeah.
before, and some producer at CNN, adopted it as the sort of the theme music for their relief efforts, and it's been used in a lot of things, and we were lucky enough to get down to New Orleans to the reopening of the Superdome and played, down there.
That was cool. I saw an interview with you guys doing that before you went on your bus tour around the city. What's it like down there?
Messed up, dude.
Still?
Yeah.
Still
it's real messed
garbage?
up.
And
Yeah. They need a lot of help down there still. There's still piles as high as houses that they haven't gone through yet,
really?
just of washed up stuff, and it's just crazy, and they need a lot of help, and so...
Well, hopefully with this regime change that's happened last night,
I know.
You might get a little more help.
Heaven.
Heaven. You guys are Democrats, I take it, then? Being musicians?
Well, we're default Democrats.
Yeah, well, I think most people are, because what's the third option, right?
I mean, I'm obviously politically leaning to the left,
Yeah.
So. Yeah, no, great day yesterday, man.
Yeah,
really.
Should be cool.
An amazing day and a potentially amazing day in our history. Let's
I think the entire world just took one sigh of relief, because it was really, really, 6 years of unchecked power, and there's been a lot of abuse and a lot of, and the country, has been driven into, just a massive amount of debt, and lost a lot of goodwill around the world, and we need to start mending our fences around the world and refocusing our priorities onto more practical, urgent matters.
It's like your song. What's the line? Today's the day the world begins again.
Yeah, tonight's the night the world begins again.
Yeah, so it's a very appropriate tune. at the moment, I guess.
I guess, yeah.
Let's hope it works that way.
Yeah.
So, you guys,
man.
I was reading something. You guys said you were writing a lot more together this time, rather than the last couple of records where it was more separate. I think it was you that said that.
Yeah,
Is that true?
Well, it was just I think we spent so much time together this time. Much more time together in a room. You know, we were spending 10 hours a day together, and you know, so the writing process ended up a lot more cohesive this time than it was just me sitting at my house writing and John sitting at his house writing. So, yeah, absolutely.
You sitting there with an acoustic too writing, or how does it work for you guys?
We were just sort of pulling it together. You know, I had some ideas, and you know, and we brought them in. But I think just the process in general this time just was a lot more. I mean, we went in; it was a lot more of a rock band.
Yeah.
You know, sitting making their rock together, as opposed to us writing some songs and bringing it in, making a record, and then presenting it to our rock band, which is sort of how it went for the.
Oh, that's cool. A little different this time around. Yeah. Listen seems to be. It's one you sing. Yeah. Seems to be one that kind of goes back to that old Goo Goo Dolls, kind of not grunge sounding, but more alternative.
Well,
back in the day.
That was built off of a riff that John came up with, actually. So that's very
interesting
that you say that.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Because
it sounds like old Goos.
Yeah, well, that would make sense because that's how everything was back then.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
What's the direction for you guys now? I mean, the way I guess you kind of. I mean, you must be screwing around on the guitars still and stuff, writing stuff. Is it more this new? I don't want to say pop kind of feel, but I mean, there's a difference between the old stuff and the new stuff, in a way.
Yeah, and there's a difference between you today and 10
agreed.
years
people
ago.
Change, people grow up, people move on, and you write different stuff, and that all works.
I mean, as long as it's coming from your gut, I mean, I think that's the important thing,
Yeah, true.
Just keep, just work from your gut, and everything will be all right. But I don't know what it's going to be. It's going to be whatever I feel like it's going to be.
I always say I can't wait to hear what it sounds like. Like I can't wait till we write the song so I can hear our next record. It really makes me excited.
Cool. Are you guys writing stuff on the road or
not right
now?
I'm taking some time off in January to start doing some writing.
Okay, cool.
This is a bad place to write music. If you ask
me. In Calgary?
No, just on the road.
Oh, on the road doesn't work.
Not for me. It doesn't.
Yeah. You got to be at home, surroundings, that kind of stuff. Well, at least now that you
it's kind of I don't like working at home either, though.
Oh, really?
I need a place to go and work.
What, like sitting on a park bench or something?
No.
Cool downtown, that train station in Buffalo. It's amazing.
We need. I need like a studio or a space, someplace I can go to and just where nobody will hear me and I can freak out and do whatever the hell I want.
Not be self-conscious about stuff, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, if I want to take my pants off and write a song, I can. It's not a problem.
We always used to like in Buffalo when we were kids. There were always rehearsal halls around, like where you could go rehearse in a really nice place with a PA, et cetera. But we never wanted to, so we always ended up rehearsing in drippy, 40-degree basements because we didn't want anybody to hear what we were doing,
It's come full circle, though.
Yeah,
more than one condemned building.
I mean, if you're gonna, I think that's another thing we learned with Glenn, and it sort of fits into this. It's like, you gotta make a billion mistakes in order to make your best record.
Yeah.
We always sort of self-censored ourselves into the positions, that we were in, and I think that this time, he really taught us to open things up a little bit more.
That was the best lesson. I mean, it's to get the best stuff, you have to be experimental, and like 99 out of 100 experiments are going to suck. And you have to realize that, but you have to at least let them see the light of day before you smash them.
Yeah.
It's like, so okay, fine, I'll play this twice, and if I still think it sucks, then we'll put it away. But at least it's getting done,
How many songs were recorded for this record? A whole bunch, or was it just like the 11
there's a couple left over somewhere.
There was one that kind of went away early, and then one that kind of went away right at the last minute. So.
But I mean, I tend to whittle down my songs to what I'm actually going to wind up putting on the record because it's like, or maybe an extra one or two hanging around. But I'm not into the whole, B-sides and rarities. It's like,
well, you got that one record that kind of came out like that.
Well, those were all songs that were on albums.
Well,
it's just
in February was different, right?
Well, we re-recorded that, but the thing was, is that the way the record company worked us was that we wrote pop ballads, and that's a pretty small. Part of the body.
10 years.
It's a small part of the body of work, and that's when we put a compilation together called "What I Learned About Ego, Opinion, Art, and Commerce."
Wow,
and
I'm surprised you can name the whole thing.
And,
I have trouble with it sometimes.
Yeah, but
oh, okay.
yeah, I came up with it. So, but it was all the songs that were deeply a part of what this band was all about. But a lot of people never got a chance to hear because they weren't on the radio.
Yeah.
So and it's sort of like the de-evolution of the band. We started at what? Where did we start with Gutterflower?
Yeah, I think Gutterflower.
We started with Gutterflower and worked our way back to 1988.
Yeah.
So it was kind of interesting.
It's a cool record.
Yeah,
I love 2 Days in February. It's one of my favorite Google
songs.
Thank
you very much.
Yeah, it's really cool. And Acoustic No. 3 is on there too, which is nice.
Yeah.
You bought a studio in Buffalo. Are you part of that, or is it just your studio?
Yeah, actually, I bought one years ago, and we just moved to the place that we've been working in since we were kids. Actually, it's been closed for the past 10 years.
Oh, wow.
John and I now are going to open up the room there primarily to do our next record in.
Yeah,
so,
well, you were saying you need to go to your own little place. I was thinking that'd be a place.
Yeah,
Good place to hang out.
Yeah.
So we got some meetings. The guy that designed it did like Electric Lady and
no way.
and did the Record Plant and
that's amazing.
Back in 1973, I think he built it for or something like that. So he's coming back. We're meeting with him next month, and we're going to redesign the room with him.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's going to be really cool.
Are you doing analog or digital? How are you going to do it?
Both.
Yeah,
a little bit of both.
It's you know what those not to get like a studio geek because I'm just into making records that sound really cool.
Yeah.
But we got a lot of old gear, a lot of analog stuff, a lot of tube gear,
that sounds cool.
And you mix that up with the digital world.
Yeah.
The digital world is inevitable. I mean, that it's going to wind up in a digital format. But there's a lot of things that you can do to get it there that'll make it sound better.
Yeah.
I mean, it's what like Zeppelin records sound so much better than albums that are.
Linkin Park records.
Yeah,
we can
there you
say
go.
that.
Yeah, I totally agree with you.
Like Sonic.
Yeah, just
Or
Sonic.
our records.
Even the White Stripes records.
Even our records. Our records
Exactly.
don't sound as good as those records because there's no.
It's not the same.
It's not the same. So,
New.
Yeah.
so we're trying to capture some of that. Get some of that on the way in.
So bringing that designer in, would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because he actually worked, with Eddie Kramer on a lot of designing those rooms.
Designing rooms where
Yeah, they actually did those drums in.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So we're gonna get a big banging. We have a big banging drum room going, and like a big,
Mike will have fun.
a big old console, and it'll be fun. It's gonna be a good time. I mean, we'll never make a dime off it, and we'll probably wind up selling everything in 10 years.
Hey,
but
man, you're musicians. It's like a dream to have your own studio.
yeah, dumb dream.
Yeah, I know. Trust me, I've been living it for the past 5 years.
It's what it is.
Nightmares
It's all about it being a non-profit organization, you know, and hopefully Catholic Charities or something will help us, help fund us.
Speaking of nonprofit organizations, this tour, you got people coming out, I heard, from different places in different cities, and you're asking people to give can donation. How does it all work? And explain to people what that's all about.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if we were doing that here, but I'm glad that.
They have like a sister organization up here.
Yeah, cool.
Awesome. Yeah.
Good. I'm glad.
Thank you very much. Yeah, USA Harvest. It's a organization that we work with that I guess has a sister organization up here, and they collect canned goods at our shows. We've been doing about 8 years we've been working with them now, and I believe we raised.
Well, last summer,
Counting Crows tour?
with the Counting Crows, like a 2.5-3 month tour, we raised over 1 million meals.
Wow.
So, and it's cool
amazing.
because you don't have to go through any bureaucracy. You don't have to go through any food bank or anything like that. It gets distributed. It gets distributed within 24 hours directly to the shelters.
That's amazing.
And it's all volunteers. There's no money. It's just people helping their neighbors out, and that's a great thing.
Yeah, it's like the '60s music vibe. I'm surprised more bands aren't doing that nowadays.
Well,
a few are.
A few are. Green Day was really heavily involved with them, and Counting Crows
cool.
and us, and God, I forgot the other girl. Yeah, Van Halen. Van Halen was the one that really kind of started it all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So we're just following in their footsteps, and I'm overwhelmed by the generosity of the people that come and see us.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're music
really
fans,
cool.
right? We're all just free-loving kind of people.
Yeah, man.
Tell me about the Crows tour. I saw you guys in Toronto. It was a great show, and
that was a great
awesome.
tour. I mean, they're really. I learned to have
you big fans of theirs?
I learned to have to appreciate their music a lot more. I mean, because I always have my Counting Crows songs that I liked. You know,
what?
Long December.
What
What the hell is the name of that song? Angels of the Silences.
Good tune.
That's a great tune.
Yeah.
That's my favorite song by them. You know, but they're really, really great guys, a really great band, great players.
Yeah,
you know,
they are.
Just forget it. You know, I mean, they're just sonically, they're amazing. You know?
Switched up a few musicians over the years, though. I mean, the bass player
Yeah, a
and drummer
couple.
kind of new.
But, you know,
I mean, that happens, right?
part of the evolution, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Awesome. Talk about downloading. You mentioned digital studio and that kind of stuff. I'm wondering about digital downloading. And when you guys started off, must have been giving out cassette tapes back when you started, and then
Yeah.
moved on to CDs.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, it's going away, I think.
Yeah.
I hope not. I mean, I like having the artwork and all that kind of stuff. But
What I think is a really interesting barometer of where the world is going is that the world famous Tower Records on Sunset Boulevard in Hollywood is closing.
no way.
Closing down.
Yeah, closing down. Dude.
Closing down. They're clearing the store out.
Yeah, every tower in America is shutting down.
It's like the worst news ever.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like
That's the way it's going, I guess.
it's about I mean, like we're just over in the UK, and it's still about small record shops.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
That's
you
cool.
know, local record stores, and they got the big ones there too. But
Is that you?
they're able to coexist. You know, for some reason over there.
Interesting.
But you know, yeah, digital is going. It's going to be all digital eventually.
Yeah.
You know, and it's cool. I mean, they're starting to rein it in so we actually make some dough off it. You know, I mean, it was really kind of hard to. It was really hard to swallow when you know you sell. 400, 500, 600,000 records, which is awesome,
Nowadays,
which is great.
yeah.
It's great, but then you look online and there's calculators for how many downloads, and
Yeah.
then there's like 3 million downloads of you, and you're like,
Yeah.
and nobody paid for
Yeah.
it.
I just
You're like,
went-
come
well,
on, man, you know.
Help us out.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
nice to.
it's
It's
crazy,
a
man.
really nice teenage idea to think that you're screwing the man, but
You're not.
But the record company makes their money back
First.
First, they make their
then
money.
comes you.
They make their money back off the first 100,000 records,
Yeah.
and it's like you're ultimately just screwing the bands, you know. And it's like, we got to eat same as anybody else, you know. I mean, it's like if I came into your dorm room and stole your computer, you know. I mean, it's like you need your computer to study and get your degree so you can get your high paying job, you know. But if I decide, screw you, computers should be free and they should be for everybody.
Yeah.
I'm coming in and taking yours.
I think people are more and more starting to understand that concept, you know. But I think it's just another one of those things, man. It's just the industry is mutating.
Yeah.
And
Rapidly.
and we don't know which direction it's mutating in. It doesn't seem to be about just selling that entity, which is a CD anymore, though.
A whole bunch of different stuff.
So people are trying to figure out what that thing is right now, and as nerve-wracking as it is, it's pretty exciting too. At the same time, I think.
Yeah.
I mean,
Sorry.
I mean, God, there's potential in everything, and eventually, I mean, ultimately, if there's a buck to be made, I mean, somebody's going to figure out how to do it, So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool. We just, I mean, we're the last guys to get paid anyway from the record company, so it's kind of like, I would much rather that people
Actually,
bought
my
our music.
mortgage, my bank is the last one to get paid.